What on earth is taking these Lunerboonie so long to destroy those strong and long people? I've been waiting so long and they still aren't back yet.
Master, there is urgent news.
What are you talking about? What does urgent mean?
It means I need your attention immediately because it's very important. The Autobellas were defeated.
You've got to be kidding me. How on earth is this happening? First them Gemels and then the Autobellas. This is just very ridiculous. I can't believe they were also defeated. Now because of this I have to send the next Lunerboonie.
Which ones are we gonna send now?
The Matterlings is what's next.
Well, okay then.
I know what you people just heard. And those girls are up to no good. That must have been the master of the Lunerboonies. And she is now sending the Matterlings, which are the girls you see on screen right now. Why? Well, they're pretty darn stinking bad. And when you think of something that bad, you're in trouble. Because there's a blue girl made of candy. She's made of blue candy. There's a girl made of mud. She's the brown one. There's a one wearing red that's made out of pink cake batter. There's one wearing purple that's red because she's made of ketchup. There's a yellow one wearing black. She's yellow because she's made out of nacho cheese. And there's one that's green because she's made out of pistachio ice cream. She's also wearing purple. There's one wearing white and she's made out of orange juice. That's why she's orange. And there's one that's wearing black and she's white because she's made out of marshmallow cream. And there's a purple one because she's made out of amethyst, which is a purple crystal. That's why she's purple. And there's the gray one who's wearing blue. She's gray because she's made out of storm clouds. The daytime storm clouds, like pure daytime storm clouds, you know. And the one that's black wearing white, she's black because she's made out of smoke. Black smoke. Now what creates black smoke again? Probably it's oil or gas. And the one that's tan that's wearing black, the tan one is tan because she's tan because she's made out of noodles. Noodles. You like noodles, don't you? But don't try to eat her. She's a problem. You gotta run when you see her. The episode opens with Fangy and Fango watching TV. Well, Fangy decides to get something to eat, while Fango decides to use... When Fango has to use the bathroom is what I meant to say. Well, both of them are gone. They didn't pause the TV because it was a live channel. Then suddenly a broadcast came on saying that something came through the dream gate. And they're hoping that if it's another Lunerboonie, Fango, will come and deal with it. Although Fangy and Fango don't realize the broadcast came on, because the broadcast finishes before they come back. And after the broadcast, they return to the TV. They just missed a broadcast, you know? Yeah. You know what it's like when you miss a broadcast like that. It ain't very good. But hey, this is when they start doing fun stuff. Right after they return from the TV, we see where the new Lunerboonies land. Or the third Lunerboonies, I meant. Which is the Matterlings. Each Matterling crashes on Earth. And each one wakes up in that area. The Candy Girl crash lands and wakes up in downtown Crown Rapids, like right in the middle of the city. And the Mud Girl crash lands and wakes up at the airport. And the pink one appears at the wind farm. And the red one appears at train station. That's how Fango gets the clock tower. Well, we'll not get to which structure he uses to defeat them yet. And the yellow one ends up and appears in the town or city town, like large town of Rosedale. It's like part city, part town. You know what I mean. And the pistachio ice cream girl appears right next to the nuclear power plant. Like right at it. And the orange juice girl appears at the harbor. And the marshmallow girl appears at the military. And the amethyst crystal girl appears at the paper mill. And the storm cloud girl appears right in, like, around the freeways in Penford. And the smoke girl appears right on the outskirts, like right in the city of Cone Springs. And the noodle girl appears at an antenna farm. As Fangy and Fango didn't notice them, that's when we cut back to Fangy and Fango just minding their own business, not realizing what's going on. They don't realize there's trouble, they don't realize that Strong Lungs needs help, that there's Matterlings attacking them. Let's say Fangy and Fango goes for ice cream while they're distracted. They hang out in Star Lake while they're distracted. Excuse me, sorry for burping like that 2 times. They do all sorts of fun things, not realizing that there's Lunerboonie chaos going on in the other cities and places. They go on a hayride. They go for some food in it's Storm Hills. They go eat at Storm Hills. They go to Hammer Valley. Yeah, that's actually where they take a swim in Hammer Valley. And then they were, let's say they were at the amusement park. They were at an amusement park having fun. And they were doing all sorts of fun stuff. But that's when we get to the battle business. The first thing when Fango notices, when both Fangy and Fango turns on the live news, that's when we see a person on the news. We see Sam saying, "I can't believe this. These Lunerboonies are destroying the city." Yeah, a few like scenes, in the middle of the strong, like, Fangy and Fango having fun business. They were like that part. Yeah, there was a few scenes with the military trying to stop the Matterlings, but it wasn't working correctly. It wasn't working too good at all. And that's when, and Fango even, Fango, and once Fangy and Fango turns on the TV, here's the part where they're shocked. And Sam says, "I can't believe it. Why hasn't Fango showed up? There's these crazy Lunerboonies made out of different matters destroying Strong Lungs." And Fango's like, "What? How did I not notice that at first? I don't know how. We just set up a broadcast and somehow he didn't notice it. Come on, Fango. Didn't you see that broadcast? We just sent it to your TV." "What?" And then Fangy and Fango kind of realizes Fango said, "Oh, dang. Fangy, this must have came on while you were getting something to eat and I was using the bathroom. And then it switched off before we got back." And that's when they realized they made a mistake. And that's when Fango gets into his mecha suit. That's when the first one he fights is the girl made of candy. And here's what he uses. He uses those Space Needle type structures. And I mean these towers. Yeah, towers like this. Except the one... except the Tokyo Skytree. Nothing like the Tokyo Skytree. Just like... I mean like Calgary Tower or Skyline Tower or the Space Needle or the Tower of the Americans or the CN Tower or the Start or Strat Tower. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, only those towers. Nothing like the Tokyo Skytree, okay? Or the Surliner. Or whatever the heck it says. It says... or... I don't know what it's called. But he didn't do, like, it wasn't anything like it. It was only ones, like, it was more like, it was like a tower. It's actually Crown Rapids main tower. I don't know what it's called. I'll come up with a name for it, too. Maybe we'll just call it, Crown Top Tower. Or we'll just call it, yeah, I think it was called the Air Crown. Or we'll just call it Crown Cap Tower. And then that's after Fangy defeats her. That's when he shows up. Yeah, well, yeah. That's when he shows up at the airport. Well, okay, I don't want to have to go back to the Candy Girl, but before he defeats her with the tower, she tries to attack her, but then Fango grabs the tower and whacks her with it and destroys. He just knocks the tower right onto her. Now we can get back to this part. The airport control tower being knocked onto the Mud Girl. The Mud Girl attacks Fango, smacks his mecha suit across the face, leaving the handprint. But then he pushes her onto the ground right next to the airport control tower and then knocks the tower onto her. And then she's defeated. And then we cut to the girl made of cake batter. Fango fights her too. She tries to give him a knuckle sandwich, but he grabs her wrist and throws her into one of the wind turbines. She pushes it, but then Fango grabs it and pushes it her direction. Or let's say when she hit it, she ended up like landing where it was gonna fall, and then it falls right on her. And then we cut to the Ketchup Girl who was destroying the train station. She hasn't damaged the clock tower by any chance, but Fango grabs it and whacks her with it while she's not looking. That's when we cut to the Cheese Girl, and she squirts cheese from her nose into the mecha suit's eyes. Oh no, he was blinded by the snot. It was gross and it was painful at the same time. Yeah, of course snot is gross, and the reason why it's painful is because it gets in your eyes. It hurts when something gets in your eyes, and it's gross when snot comes out of people's noses. Ugh. Well, actually, it isn't gross or painful at all, because it's just cheese that came out of... It's a cheese girl, and all it was her powers. Just cheese came out of her nose. It wasn't anything else gross. Not so Fango's mecha suit, it was only cheese that got on the mecha's eyes. And all Fango, it didn't even hurt Fango's eyes. It wasn't Fango who got his eyes hurt. It was only the mecha suit's eyes the cheese got in. And but Fango said, "Help, I got cheese-o-vision!" But then he realizes that, oh wait, I got the wipers, yeah. And then the wipers wipes the cheese off, out of the way so Fango can see, because the eyes are the cameras. And it goes wipe, wipe, wipe. Hey, at least he got him, at least he's not blinded by the snot anymore. At least his robotic eyes aren't blinded by the cheesy snot anymore. And that's when he charges at her. They both charge at each other, but Fango's charge did a lot more damage to the cheese girl. And she didn't do a single damage to Fango's robot. That's when Fango grabs the cell tower and just slams it right onto her. Blatantly killing her. No, not blatantly killing her, but just defeating her, let's say. And then here's at the nuclear power station. And then, let's say when the ice cream girl tries to attack, he grabs her by the wrist, throws her so high, and then he jumps with as high as she gets thrown into the air, and then he just punches her with a super punch. She lands into one of the coolant towers, which causes an explosion. It collapses the coolant towers, unfortunately. And then, and then that's how he defeats her. And then when he gets to the harbor where the orange juice girl is causing chaos, he pushes her towards the lighthouse. And if you didn't notice, Fango had a grappling gun hand. His mecha suit has grappling gun hands, and they both grab the lighthouse while the orange juice girl isn't looking, and it crushes her and defeats her. And then that's when we cut to the marshmallow girl, and Fango uses a spinning radar tower, and then that's what he uses. He just picks her up and just throws her and just spares her with the tower's antenna. Unfortunately, the tower does fall over. Fango says, "Whoops, my bad." And that's when we cut to the crystal girl after that. And he pushes her right next. She attacks, but Fango pushes her. He actually tears one of her arms off. He actually kicks her, which breaks her arms off. And this is how he only bursts a hole through. He only tears one of her arms off, like half of it. She actually tears her hand off, then he bursts a hole through her chest, and then she falls right next to the chimney, and then he throws her hand at the chimney, and then the chimney falls onto her. It actually was strong enough to break her in half, and she just burst into many pieces after it crushed her. It actually hit her power, whatever it is, something, her energy core. That's what her power core. It hit that, and it caused her to be completely defeated. That's when we cut to the storm cloud girl who's trying to attack Fango. But Fango, they fight, both him and her, and starts fighting. He tries to punch the energy core, but Fango has to distract, but she stops him. So he has to he blinds her with the laser cannons. He shoots her with laser cannons. He shoots her in the arms. She grabs, and she hurts herself, and she lands right next to a microwave tower. Fango tries to push on to her. She tries to push it back, but Fango kicks her, or no, let's say. Yeah. She tries to push it onto her, or push it onto Fango. She tries to push it onto Fango, but Fango pushes it back at her. Then she walks away when the tower, Fango pushes it back at her when she's not looking. When she turns around, she sees that the tower's falling towards her, and then it hits her, and it hits the core, which destroys her. And then we cut to the smoke girl. Actually, rather than using another type of cell tower, I think we should use like an oil refinery tower, because I was planning that maybe she crash lands at an oil refinery, and then Fango knocks one of the oil refinery towers onto her as she's destroying the oil refinery. Fango hides behind one of the towers. Yeah, well, she actually does spot him when he's not hiding behind them, but then he dodges her attack when she tries to attack him. Then he appears behind the oil towers, and then he knocks one of them onto her. And then that's when we get to the cell site. And then here's the cell site. Sorry about that. Someone was coming in. So yeah, at the cell site, we see she's trying to knock, she sees Fango coming. She grabs Fango's mecha arms with her noodle tentacles, pulls her towards her, swings him around, but then she pulls her towards him, and then he uses his grappling gun arms and then she tangles her up in her own tentacles, and then he knocks two communication towers onto her, blatantly defeating her. And that's the end of the Matterlings. Fango, and after all that, Fango, when he returned, after he got out of his mecha suit and returned home, he got rewarded a third time. It's like, holy cow. And that's all, y'all.